This quest for data wasn't something that the other kids did, even my own brothers. It was something that was very much hardwired in me. I can't remember a time that I wasn't a scientist. Certainly by first or second grade in school, I was the science nerd. And so I remember, like in third grade, we had a assignment for each of the kids to write up something about a planet in the solar system. So all the kids in the class came to me and said, Larry, what do we know about planets? You know all the planets. Help me out with my homework. And of course, I had a complete dossier on each planet and all of the numbers that went with it. People don't realize with the personal computer revolution that we've seen this movie before. It was called the personal radio revolution in the 20s. And so there was this make culture of making your own radios, and Popular Electronics, for instance, which I had all the back issues of, had all these circuit diagrams for how you made your own radios. So when I grew up as a kid, I would be making my own radios with my grandfather. My grandfather would say, well, you know, real men make their own radios. And back then, at night, many of the stations would go off the air, and then you could hear all across the country, in fact, around the world, you could hear radio stations, and I would spend many hours, figuring out where the station was and writing it down. A lot of the research I do is at the edge of theoretical physics, of computer science, very mathematical, very technical, very esoteric. And yet, people want to know about it. There's a skill to taking very esoteric, technical research and finding a way to tell that story in a way that lay people get excited about it. And after all, I think that's the deal. If taxpayers are going to take their money and give it to the government, who gives it back to the universities to do research to make their future better, then we have an obligation as the recipients of that money to tell the stories back to the people of what their money's going to produce. And so I had that feeling from an early age that there's a noblesse oblige. If you are privileged to be able to have the freedom to go where you want to go, follow your nose in doing research, then you have an obligation to come back and report on your voyages of discovery.